This is Selma Schimmel at the 2012 Multidisciplinary Symposium in Thoracic Oncology happening in Chicago. This meeting is presented by ASTRO, IASLC, and ASCO, as well as the University of Chicago. And now we're bringing you our Advocacy in Action feature. Joining me now is Dr. Regina, Executive Director of the National Lung Cancer Partnership. Hi, Regina.
Hello, how are you?
Let's talk a bit about the organization, and this actually falls beautifully into our Advocacy in Action series, which you've been involved in.
I'm the Executive Director of the National Lung Cancer Partnership, and we're a little over 10 years old, and we do three main things. We fund lung cancer research, we provide education for patients and professionals, and we raise awareness of the disease. Most people in the general community don't know how prevalent lung cancer is, and that unfortunately today it is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the country. And so we're trying to raise that awareness, trying to help patients get to the physicians earlier in the course of their disease so they can get better care.
When we originally started about 10 years ago, it was because we wanted to empower women to do what they have done for other types of diseases or cancers, have women do that for lung cancer. And at that time also, I don't think people were as aware that women also suffered so much from this disease, more than breast cancer, for example. So we initially started to empower women, and our initial name was the Women Against Lung Cancer. However, as we grew, it became, we didn't want to appear to be excluding people. We wanted women to be empowered, but we wanted men to be empowered too. And we wanted to study lung cancer in women because it would also help us with lung cancer in men. So we grew and we changed our name, and now we're called the National Lung Cancer Partnership. But it is true, one of our interests is in fact in investigating the differences in lung cancer between men and women.
What's your background that brought you to do your work?
I lost my father to cancer as a teenager, not lung cancer, but a different type of cancer. And I had always really enjoyed biology as a course of study, and I thought that I was going to be a cancer researcher because I thought that that's what I would do to sort of give back in my father's memory. And I did my doctorate in molecular biology, and I discovered that my passion wasn't in the laboratory. But that I did have a passion for doing a little bit more direct service to patients and to be able to use my science background to be able to improve the education that patients receive, but also to help the physicians better serve their patients.
You and your organization play a very important role in this whole area of tissue. Will you tell us a bit about that?
So right now, the National Lung Cancer Partnership is now serving as the administrative home for the Lung Cancer Mutation Consortium. This is a consortium of a number of major academic centers across the country that really want to test lung cancer tumors for very specific changes in the tumors, whether they're genetic changes or protein level changes, and then match those patients to clinical trials that are most likely to help them have the very best outcome. And it's a very exciting time because we've had some wonderful successes in this field. So we have a couple of agents already on the market that work really, really well in patients with very specific tumor characteristics. And we want to broaden that arsenal so that every patient who comes in can have their tumor tissue tested and get put on the right treatment path.
Where is this tissue stored? What part of the country?
It's actually not a tissue storage protocol. So what happens is the tissue is taken at the institution where the patient is seen, and it's stored at that institution. And only the data is collected centrally. And so that's actually one of the things that makes it, I think, easier to administer the consortium, because institutions want to hold on to the tissue because it's a very valuable resource for them as an institution. And so that was recognized in setting up the consortium, and so that the tissue is staying with the institutions.
How do you effectively, as an organization, communicate, do outreach in your efforts to educate patients in regard to tissue collection, biomarker testing, and just their general knowledge of what they need to know about their disease type?
We use a variety of mechanisms, as I'm sure anybody does for education these days. We have a strong online presence with our website, social media. We have Facebook and Twitter. We participate in forums like this one to be able to, again, spread that message more widely, even beyond our own website and resources. We have print materials, and we work to get those in communities across the nation, both through our advocate base, as well as working directly with nurses who are often on the forefront of patient education. And then we have our own series of conferences to, again, try to bridge the gap between patient education and provider education.
Are you able to get your materials directed to patient education within the community practice offices?
I think the challenge is there's no central clearinghouse. So we have these fantastic materials, but not everybody knows that we have these fantastic materials. And so how do we get them to know us? How do we get them to know what we have available? And again, I think so far, one of our most successful means has been working through nurses. Again, because they are on the front lines of the patient education, and they are able to bring the information back to their clinics.
Hopefully we're going to get more and more to the time when patients newly diagnosed with lung cancer are going to be willing to say they have lung cancer and not cancer or cancer of the bones or something like that. And that's when I think we will know we have really made progress.